Hilary Clinton skipped visiting Wisconsin in 2016. It was seen as one of the defining mistakes of her presidential campaign. Democrats are not taking it for granted again and are already out campaigning. Sky News political reporter Annalise Nielsen is on the ground in Racine, I hope I'm saying that correctly, Wisconsin, and joins us live now. Annalise, I just always put a bit of a twang on things and hope I get that pronunciation correct. Wisconsin, though, has become a key seat since it was snubbed.
It absolutely has, and you can tell voters on the ground here really know that their vote counts. Last election, it was the first time Wisconsin switched from Democrat to Republican since 1984, and a lot of that was due to these regional areas of Wisconsin. So we're here in Racine. It's an area that is well known after the president visited here with a top Taiwanese official, and he was at the head of Foxconn, and they announced a big factory here that was going to guarantee 13,000 jobs. Now, it has become quite controversial in that it's been very slow to start, and there are concerns that those TVs that they're supposed to be building there weren't exactly using US parts. But we did visit there today, and it does seem like action is well underway. Foxconn has said that they are ramping up their construction well behind schedule, but they are saying it's going to be very much a visible force by the time the election rolls around later this year. In the meantime, the Democrats are not taking it for granted, as you say. When Hilary Clinton skipped visiting Wisconsin, it was to the shock of many Democrats here that she didn't want to come to visit the state, and it did end up costing her votes. These county by county counts matter so much in these states. It was only 3 states swinging that sought the election win for Trump. It was Pennsylvania, Michigan and Washington. That's why Wisconsin has become so important. Those counties switching, the one just south of here, Kenosha, only went to Trump by 264 votes. The one here was a margin of just a couple of thousand. So it is something where they need every single vote. We've been speaking with Democrats on the ground. The local mayor ran for the Wisconsin local assembly. He said there's a number of issues really affecting the Democrats here, including gerrymandering, which is when they get to select their own seats, very foreign concept for Australians, but also the issues they've had with the voter roll purging. But he says one thing no one's taking for granted this year is Wisconsin.
20 years ago in presidential politics, everybody said Ohio was the battleground state. I think that has shifted to Wisconsin in this presidential election. I think people are going to look specifically to Wisconsin. People in Wisconsin in the upper Midwest are very pragmatic. They just want people to fix things. A lot of that really is going to come down to not necessarily where people fall on an ideological spectrum, but more who do they have confidence in an ability to actually fix the things that really have people concerned around the kitchen table when they meet at night.
Tom, one of the really interesting changes has been that the Democrats are running a really on-the-ground campaign. We visited their local campaign office here in Racine. They do have a permanent presence here now because they say it's not just the presidential election they need to keep a track of, it's all those local elections too, things we don't vote for in Australia, like the judges. Those are big elections here, and so that's something where they have been on the ground trying to push the Democratic cause as much as they can. But they say it was a concerted push after the midterms that they wanted to have that presence here on the ground to keep people to keep the Democrats in the front of people's minds, because they were concerned that they had failed so poorly last time, and it could be the decider this election around.
About 2 years ago, we worked out the finances for it. We're asking people to make extra contributions, which I do.
So, Tom, you know we love all things politics here at Sky News. We're on the ground here in Wisconsin speaking to as many voters as we can. We'll also be stopping past South Bend, Indiana, where Pete Buttigieg, one of the maybe dark horse competitors for the Democrats, is from. He's a very interesting candidate, and we'll be speaking with some people who know him there before those big Iowa caucuses start next week.
Now, the streets behind you don't look all that busy, but it looks pretty cold at the same time, Annalise. How much is the primary fever taking people there? Or how much interest are they taking in it? Perhaps not so much the streets, but a few of the bars?
Everyone here is sensible enough to be inside having a drink, Tom, but we are out here. It's not too bad. We're just off the main street, and it has been a lot warmer. It was down to -15 where we were in Wisconsin earlier in the week, but we did see when you're talking to people here on the ground, they are very aware of how powerful their vote is now, and so they're not giving much away. There is a bit of fatigue with it because this does seem like the never-ending election campaign in America, but people are very concerned with the Democratic candidates on the ground at the moment. You have some real extremes. You've got people proposing things that are really radical for an American election, things like Elizabeth Warren suggesting that you should get rid of private health care altogether, that she wants to eliminate by executive order all student loan, which would be extraordinary for the country and also for all those people that have been paying off student loans for quite some time. So it is a very divisive race at the moment among the Democrats, and there's no clear frontrunner yet. You've got three candidates who seem to be leading the way more, but it's anyone's game. This is the beauty of the Iowa caucuses. This is where people can really come out of nowhere. We saw it happen with Barack Obama. It could happen again this year too.
We'll let you get away and escape to one of those warm bars with a fireside, preferably. Annalise Nielsen on the ground for us in Wisconsin.